It's the I Can't Mom Today podcast with Heather, the new mom, and Vera, the seasoned mom. I Can't Mom Today.
Hey, this is Vera and Heather back again with another episode of I Can't Mom Today podcast. Hi, Vera.
Hello, Heather. How are you doing?
Oh, just things and stuff.
And stuff and things.
Yeah.
I got a runny nose. I really don't. I hope I don't have COVID. For once, I'm the sick one.
Well, you're always sick.
Yeah.
Chronic illnesses and whatnot.
Physically. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just a runny nose. Jerry has it too. But he had COVID just a few weeks ago. So I'm hoping this is just kind of a cold.
Maybe it's
really
a different strand.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There's things going around. Like I have a person that I work with that she's like, this is worse than COVID. This is worse than the flu. She's like, I know she's tested negative for both of them. And she's like, this is just horrific.
Yeah. I had a girlfriend who just had a really bad stomach bug. And she was like, I've never in my life thrown up like that. Like where it's just, I could not keep anything down. And, it was just horrible. And she missed 2 days of work, and she's the kind of person that wouldn't normally miss work. Yeah. So,
Baker
so yes, there's definitely stuff. Yeah.
Over the weekend, he was, we let him sleep in our room one night a week. And he woke up at like 1 throwing up, then 3, then 5 or 4. No, I think it was 4. And so he had a wrestling tournament. Obviously, we weren't going to send him to that.
Yeah.
And we don't know if it's a stomach bug, because sometimes he gets like tummy issues. Like, the doctor said, actually, it's constipation. And I'm like, but he's like pooping. And they're like, yeah, but it's trust us. I was like, okay, you're the doctor. Yeah. So I'm wondering if that was it, because he'll do that. He'll just throw up and be fine. So, yeah. Aww. So yeah, he was fine the next day. And then,
watching your kids throw up is the worst.
Well, yeah. I mean, part of it, because they're like, I don't know, like they're just like, let me throw up everywhere.
Well, there's that too. It's messy.
Like, no, there's a bucket here, right here.
Yeah. What? Right
here.
Okay. Yeah.
But I remember as a kid, I threw up on I just throw up on my grandparents' carpet.
Oh yeah, I threw up one time. Well, because my dad could not understand, being a foodie, could not understand that I was super picky about food, and we were eating like lunch.
You're not super picky about food now.
No, I kind of outgrew it. I mean, there's certain things I'm picky about, but generally I'm pretty good. And so I hate cottage cheese. And I was probably, I don't know, like 6 or 7. And my dad kept insisting I eat some cottage cheese.
Yeah.
And he was like, put it in your mouth now. And I was like, but Daddy, no. And so I did. And sure enough, I threw up all over the table.
Oh, yeah.
All over everybody's lunch, because it made me gag. That's how much I hated it. And and I'm sure part of him was kind of like, meh. But I was like, sorry, I told you I can't stand it. And, so.
I think it's pretty common. Like the kids throw up because they're just so in their head about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Food. I mean, I get it, because there are things like, for me, the like poop is just something that like like throwing up, like it is what it is, whatever. But like poop, it's just something I just will start like gagging, and
the smell of it or the sight of it,
just the thought of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Like, when I was with my dad, I would have to, wipe him after going to the bathroom. I was just like, I mean, I did it. But like, and even with Baker, because he would say something to me. I'm like, Dad, I hold my breath with my own child. It has nothing to do with you. It is literally just how this is my thing. Like I cannot.
I'm like that with throw up.
Yeah,
see, poop doesn't really bother me, but the smell and the sight of throw up makes me want to throw up.
If I hear, like, if I'm like, if like people are like, really retching, then I'm like, that sound can get me too. But for the most part, I'm like, it's just instinct, but it's instinct too. Like if Baker has poop, I clean it up, and we deal with it. And, but sometimes it does get me in the gags.
In the gags.
Yeah. Anyway, so now that we've talked about really gross stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some things that'll help you.
Yeah. Something helpful. Yeah. So unfortunately, Luke has gotten himself tangled up in a couple of different scams online, despite the fact that we used to watch the show Catfish together, and I'd say, look, see, they think they're talking to this person. It's really some guy in Nigeria, like
Mm-hmm.
like, and I thought I taught
Or
him.
Wisconsin or whatever,
or whatever, but yeah.
We're
And
not singling on anybody here.
yeah, well, yeah, it's just Nigeria is notorious for running scams. That's all. That's why I said Nigeria. So, sorry, runny nose. So, unfortunately, unbeknownst to me, he got wrapped up in both kinds of scams. One of which was, thinking that he's talking to a girl, sends her pictures, and then next thing you know, the person's saying, give me money or I'm going to send you your pictures to everybody in your contact list or whatever. Or I'm going to send it all over the internet. So of course he's freaking out. And this too is before we got him on his new medication, which since being on the new medication, he's a lot more, solid. He's a lot less up and down with his moods. So, and he's generally a lot more rational, thank God. But he was really susceptible to these kind of things because you can imagine he's lonely, and he wasn't thinking because he hasn't been thinking straight except now with the new meds. And so he got roped into one of those. So that was scary. And then the person figured out who I was via Facebook and then sent me a screenshot of my Facebook along with some of the pictures that they had of him and saying, basically, your son's not answering us and he thinks he's so smart. Well, we're going to send all this stuff all over the internet unless you send us money.
Oh my God.
Yes. So A, pictures I can't ever unsee. And then B, like, that's scary. I felt very violated. So finally, I got a hold of somebody so this is why I wanted to talk about this, because you really don't know how to deal with this kind of thing. Like I went online to see, because I know that this is not completely uncommon. So I went online to see what we could do. Well, then I'm nervous about filling out forms online because I'm like, well, what if this isn't actually a government form? What if I'm ending up sending all this information and it's, some guy in Wisconsin? So anyway, so finally I got a hold of somebody at our local sheriff's department. And they do actually have like a fraud. I just thought, because I live in little old Tallahassee, it's a small city. And I was like, I don't know, because I think that this would be, since I have an assumption that it's possible this is somebody overseas, wouldn't that be like an FBI thing or, like not a local sheriff thing? But apparently they do have that in your local sheriff or police department. So got a hold, and it turns out I actually know the guy, again, small town. So he's been super helpful. And he said, yes, unfortunately, I can tell when I sent him a copy of the screenshots of what the person sent me. He said, oh, yeah, unfortunately, Nigeria all day long. He's like, this is totally something we would see from there because there's like little, slight little grammatical mistakes. And, the English is slightly formal, not like the way you or I, native speakers would say.
Yeah.
So here's what he taught me. So I just want to let you know that there's that. So there's the blackmail scam. And then there's also there's a financial thing going around too, where somebody will say, this has unfortunately happened to him. Like she said, I'm a widow, I have all this money and I don't have any way to get a hold of it because I'm having problems with my bank account. So if I send you the money and you send it back to me, I'll give you a percentage. And like, as an adult, I'm like, yeah, this is a scam. But as a kid, especially a kid who's not in the right way totally at the time, was like, oh, free money, and I'm helping because she played oh, poor me, my husband just died and I'm just at a loss and I can't make my mortgage payment and it would be so helpful and then I can help you and you'll have a little money and I'll get my money. And so she pulled the sympathy card, and he is very susceptible to that. Even when he is feeling good, he's he cares about people. He likes.
Now, how did this person reach out to him? How did these
I
people
think on
reach out to him?
Instagram. So DMs and Instagram.
Okay.
So this is what I learned, and that's what I wanted to share with you, because I thought for sure I had taught him and I had warned him, and he's smarter than that, no. But also too, there are things that you can do to prevent something like this from happening. And this is what I learned from the sheriff here in town, and what I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, check your social media as well as your kids' social media, and make sure that their contacts and your contacts are not visible to anybody, but maybe your friends, because as long as you're careful about who you friend, or follow. But nobody, not like friends of friends, not because you don't know if your friends are going to friend some random person, and then the random person will get a hold of you through the friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So first do that. Make sure all your social media platforms, make sure that nobody can see your contacts or see, who all you're connected to, and do that for your kids' accounts too. The other thing is too, unfortunately, because they had figured out a way to get Luke to send them some of his information, they were able to they can get into your bank accounts. So, I mean, these people they're pretty savvy. They do this, probably with hundreds of people, regularly at one time. Okay. So even if you have a little kid like Baker,
yeah,
you can still go in and freeze their credit, because they don't need their credit until they open their first checking account or whatever. So
I have to go into each credit reporting place, like Equifax, TransUnion, whatever.
TransUnion and Experian. Yes, go into each one and do a security freeze, and it's free. It doesn't cost anything. So they might, when you go onto those sites, that there is a little thing that'll say, "Oh, we can do a security freeze and or do a this, and for $10 a month or whatever." So they'll try and rope you in with something that you got to pay for, but
not today.
Yeah, for the free route, it's just security freeze, do it on each one. That way, if somebody tries to open up an account in your child's name, they shouldn't be able to. And then when they get older and they want to open a checking account or whatever, I mean, they're still not going to need credit cards or be able to get them until they're 18. But
that's not true. So, I had credit cards at like 16.
You did? Not a debit card, a credit card?
Yep. I went to spring break. There were credit card places giving away free t-shirts.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, okay. I think I put the wrong birthday on there, but still you should be able to check with my social security number.
Yeah, you would think.
But whatever. I have great credit. So.
But yeah, so those are the things that I learned. And I was like, oh my God, I never would have known to think of this, especially, like I said, with a little kid, because somebody can literally go in and use Baker's information and open up accounts, and you'd have no idea.
Yeah, none.
So then as soon as Baker tries to, use his credit, and he discovers he's got all these dings on his credit, and it's like, what? How did that happen?
Yeah, so, which shouldn't be able to happen. You shouldn't be able to start credit until 18, or, because some people get their kids ahead by putting them as a co-signer or signer on their credit card. And so their credit is now attached to you as a parent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know I had family members that they would open like phone. Listen, we have a branch of our family that's not the best, not the most ethical. They open things in their kids' names. So their grandkids had bad credit from the get-go because they would just open phone. And this is back in the day of the phone. I don't know how they are now, but back in landlines, they would open phone numbers and not pay their bills, and crazy.
Oh, that's awful. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Well, hopefully as a parent, you wouldn't do that. And
I would not.
And in order to protect your kid from evil great Uncle Bill, then it's something to think about. And or anybody that can just, like I said, it's really amazing how savvy some of these people are with getting information and using your credit or your child's credit, and to reinforce with your kid, even though you might think that your kid's smarter than that, they're not necessarily.
No,
as they get older.
This is like, no matter how much you prepare your kids' brains are still not developed until they're past 18,
25,
legal adulthood. So like, don't think that they are, oh, my kid knows. We talk about it all the time. It's like, no, they don't. Like, unless you just have, and there were those responsible kids, right? There were those responsible kids that were born 95.
And I pray you have one of those. I pray, I would love that for everybody. Wouldn't the world be an easier place?
Yeah, I do not have one of those.
Yeah, me neither.
I do not have one of those. But there is, gosh, I was going to say something.
Sorry.
What was I gonna say about that?
Do you think that
that's why they do like the 2020 and Dateline they've done where, these people have told their kids, like, don't get in a car, don't get a car, don't get a car, don't get in blah, blah, blah. And the kids get in the dang car.
Yeah.
Or in a van because puppies are there or whatever. And
it's like,
right. So yeah, no matter how much you tell them and talk to them, and it's scary, man.
So, especially, like the saying, especially for boys, is gasoline and perfume, like you think your kid is all rational and everything. And then it's like, ooh, girls, cars,
Yeah.
So, and it really, like, you think it's not going to happen to your kid, and it does.
But that shouldn't hinder you from talking about it constantly. Like, talk about it until they're blue in the face and they're like, I know, Mom.
Well, yeah. How many times have I gotten
that?
Even
Mom, I got it. Deal with it.
Yeah. So, but this is a preventative thing, freezing your kids' credit, check your social media, all of your accounts, all of your kids' accounts, your spouse or, whoever is connected to your kid, to make sure nobody can get to your contacts or get to your kids' contacts, or, try to, create that bubble around them, so that hopefully, if God forbid, some nefarious things get out there, they can't be sent. Anyway,
And also, I mean, like, think about older people too. Older people get in these jams all the time because they just haven't experienced it. They didn't grow up with this stuff.
Exactly.
So
very much so. Yep.
And they're fully developed brains, but they just,
they don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's even spamming, and of course now we're all getting spam on our cell phones too, not just in our emails.
Yeah, text messages.
Yeah, and Jerry will be like, "Well, what does this mean?" And he'll show it to me. I'm like, "Spam, delete it. Yeah. Report and delete. Report and delete."
Oh, did I tell you about that when I got a call about my, like, I was being taken to collections? I don't think we talked about it, but it was very spammy. It was just very spammy. He's like, "Hi," and it was just had like one of those like hokey voices. "Hi, this is James with blah 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 LLC. Blah, blah, blah. We're calling about your property at blah blah blah, and the lawyer, we just wanted to make sure that you have all the information for your lawyer." I was like, "What the?" And this was like Friday, and I called back. And I mean, it was a legitimate company and everything. But I told the guy, I was like, this just screams like scam. This phone call just screams scam. You didn't tell me who the company was that was saying that I owed them the money, which we didn't. By the way, they just had not marked that we paid.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was like, great. Thank you for making me have a heart attack all weekend. Cause I'm like, oh, what is this for? Like, yeah. And so but he's like, in my 19 years, I've never had anybody. I was like, shut your mouth. I was like, you're wrong. I was like, this is spammy, or this is super scammy. I was like, this screen, like, had I honestly, like, I almost didn't call you back because I was like, this is a joke. But they also called Brad's number. And I was like, okay, well, maybe it's not. But I'm saying, like, this would have gone unattended because he didn't give me any information. He's like, well, we don't do that privacy blah. I'm like, well, if you're calling me and leaving a message, you should leave that. If my voicemail says Heather blah 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 on the end of it, then you should make that happen.
Right.
I was like, and he was just so mad. I was like, shut your mouth. I have zero time for you.
No time for you.
I know. I was just like, and they mailed us something that we've not yet to receive. And so that's why I was like, this is a scam. This is a scam.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
yeah. So I know it's awful. Like, you don't have enough to worry about trying to be a parent, much less all this stuff with people coming at you with all this BS. It's really frustrating. But anyway, hopefully that bit of information I can share with you my experience, so that way, to get the security freezes on those accounts and
now, how do you know you have the right
can prevent it?
Website though? That's what I worry about sometimes too. Is like, what if I go to Equifax and it's like Equifax, like there's more than one.
Well, I mean, again, you could. They do give you phone numbers on the websites. That's why I ended up calling them.
Yeah, but then what if it's wrong, Equifax or whatever, TransUnion or something,
Well, it should too. It should, when you go into it, it'll have information on there about you. It'll have like your account.
I'm skeptical of everything.
Oh, I know. Well, there is a certain point where you're just like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is right. And, obviously look at the URL very carefully. Make sure the URL is HTTP, whatever, security. HTTPS. Yeah. And
and they have a lock, I think, a lot of times, or
So just make sure that the exact URL is like, HTTPS www.equifax or TransUnion or whatever. So but yeah, So there you go. Hopefully it'll prevent you from having to go through what I had to go through.
Yeah.
It's just another day. But yeah, and if you have any other advice about this kind of stuff, or if you've had experiences, you can email us, ican'tmomtodaypodcast@gmail.com, or we do keep our our Facebook group is closed. Like you have to be accepted to get into our Facebook group.
Yeah.
But we are pretty open on our Instagram. But if you come across a spam, we won't answer you. So.
But also if somebody in our group too says anything at all to anything, like reaches out to you and they're in our group, let us know, because we don't want any solicitation through our website. Like that's not okay.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. No, it's supposed to be a nice, safe place.
Yeah.
A safe place.
I think it is, but sometimes people are a little, get bold, and these scammers are out there everywhere. So
I know. They're sophisticated, like I said. So
sophisticated little turd noggins.
Right.
But I do want to say something. We have a big thank you to Maria. I'm gonna I don't want to mispronounce your last name, but it starts with an S. You use our affiliate link to order Ultimate Cloths, and we appreciate you supporting our podcast, because we obviously don't get paid for this, and so the few dollars that we get from affiliate marketing is
and we really do like the Ultimate Cloths.
Yeah,
we're not just like pushing them because we really like them.
Yeah, I actually use them this weekend to clean my bathrooms.
Yes, they are the best for stainless steel too. That's what I use mine mostly on my fridge, because it's constantly covered in grape jelly. Thanks to Jerry.
Anyway, so we appreciate you helping support us, and also getting some really cool things.
So. Yeah, and I always try and put the link for our merch on TeePublic and the link for the Ultimate Cloth in the show notes. So if you want to pick some of that stuff up, you can.
Yeah, do it. All right, until next time.
Bye.